Hey guys, it's Rewind here again. Today we're going to go over masteries, mainly Warmaster and Giant Slayer. We got a few requests for video explaining the differences between the two and which one is better or recommended. Get to well, we can start off with battle because okay, so Giant Slayer, 30% chance of working. Giant Slayer can proc, or it can hit for each hit on a skill. The bonus damage can occur on each hit of a skill, but does not count as an extra hit. Excuse me. Has a 30% chance of working. So for each hit, you can get an extra 2 or 5% damage. For every time you use that skill. So generally, you would want to put Giant Slayer on a champion that has multi-hit skills. Warmaster, on the other hand, it can only occur once per skill, and also does not count as an extra hit. The damage is a little bit higher, and also has a higher chance of happening, occurring, proccing, whatever you want to say there. So I think the biggest question is which one is better. Well, that kind of comes down to which type of champion you are going to use it on. For support champions, if you're going to use them in Clan Boss, these work best for the Clan Boss. In Arena, they really don't do a whole lot of damage. If they do happen, it's usually a couple hundred, 1,000 maybe, depending on how much HP the enemy has. But we're just going to focus on the Clan Boss today because that's the biggest area of the game where these take effect. So, if you're going to go with Warmaster or Giant Slayer on a support champion, which I recommend doing it, because these two masteries can give your support champions a lot of damage. Actually, right now, my Bad Alcazar is my highest damage doer in Clan Boss, surprisingly. Let's see, Brutal, we got 10.5 million. See right here, I've got Royal Guard and Septimus. Those two champions have skills that are based off the enemy max HP, so that's why I use them. They do a lot of damage. Excuse me again. For hard, I think on hard they do. I have Warmaster on both of those, and I'll go over that in a little bit. But on Warmaster, or on hard, they do I think around 58,000 damage. And on brutal, I think it's 67. And I don't think I've hit Nightmare yet. But each mastery is limited, or has a cap on the damage it can do, and I believe that cap is 75,000. So that's not really a factor in determining which one is better for Clan Boss. So if you decide to go the offense route on a support champion in your Clan Boss team, I would recommend going with Warmaster, unless your champion's first skill hits at least 3 times. My clanmates and I more so my clanmates, did the math, and basically the conclusion is for each skill, if it hits 3 times, it's kind of a coin flip. Between the two, they're both pretty. They would both pretty much, come out to about the same damage. If your skill hits more than 3 times, it would be more beneficial to go with Giant Slayer. However, that doesn't mean that you should go with Giant Slayer if your champion has a skill that hits more than 3 times, or 3 or more. Like for instance, my Royal Guard here, his first skill hits 1 time, second one hits 1 time, though his third skill hits 4 times. But I still went with Warmaster. Actually, I changed him from Giant Slayer to Warmaster and saw that he gained about 25% more damage on Clan Boss, because while his third skill hits 3 times, I can only use it once every 5 turns. So it would make sense that since his first skill and his second skill will get used more often, that Warmaster has a higher chance of working or occurring, proccing. So that's why I went with Warmaster, and I think that any champion that doesn't have their first skill that hits at least 3 or more times should go with Warmaster. And I believe that any champion in your clan boss team should go with the offensive path, because just by having one of these 2 masteries is phenomenal. Before I got Warmaster or Giant Slayer on my battle, I think on hard clan boss he hit around 1.8, 2 million, somewhere in there. Now his damage is doubled. If you're not familiar with Battle, he basically just does a whole lot of poison damage. 5% poison debuffs for 2 turns. There's that, and then also I put a toxic set on him, specifically for clan boss, although I use my Battle Khazar pretty much everywhere because he's just a phenomenal healer. And he also increases the damage of the rest of my team with his passive. Battle is just, he's a game changer. If you get Battle Khazar, you just hit the jackpot. Anyways, champion, yeah, let's see, we went over that. Royal Guard. When you are selecting your masteries, if you have to make a change or if you decide that you're going to reset, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you plan it out and write it down or draw it out. Really take a look at what each mastery has to offer and which path you want to take. I assume you guys are pretty much going to go with offense for clan boss. That's kind of the purpose of this video. But I would really, you really should draw it out, plan it out, whatever, because if you make a mistake, it is going to cost you 150 gems to fix it, and I actually had to do that one time. Actually, I think I had to do it on my Septimus here. The other thing is when you're planning it out and drawing it, writing it, whatever, work in reverse, because the ultimate goal of your masteries is to get your 6th tier masteries. either Warmaster or Giant Slayer. And when you're selecting your masteries, and I'm sure everybody knows this, but you can only select one or the next one that's adjacent to your previous one, meaning that it has to connect either vertically or diagonally or horizontally, but I think that's just pretty much self-explanatory. So so by working in reverse, you know that you're going to select, Warmaster or Giant Slayer. You know which ones you can pick. So by Warmaster, I could only select one of these two, and once you get enough scrolls, you can select two if you wish. So I decided to go with methodical. Kind of makes sense. Actually, maybe I'll go through this on Royal Guard. He's a little bit more common. So, which I still need a few more scrolls for him to get these, but so obviously I wanted Warmaster, so I could either select this one, methodical, or kill streak. Methodical is increase the damage inflicted by this champion's skill. Once you use it 5 times, it's 10% damage increase. I think that is a very good one to select. This one, 3% in other locations, up to 12%. Well, this is each enemy killed, so that one wouldn't help you in Clan Boss. So if you're going to select Warmaster, I would suspect that you would pick that one. However, if you want Giant Slayer, you would need either the previous one we just looked at, Kill Streak, or Blood Shield when they kill an enemy, so that one's not really useful in Clan Boss, or it's not useful. For each debuff on this champion, this one, Stoke to Fury, I don't think that that's really all that beneficial in Clan Boss, because I think each time it attacks, you can either get stunned, which obviously that's not going to help this one, or you can get 1 poison debuff on you. So Stoke to Fury wouldn't be the best one. So I think Methodical, would be the best choice in that row. From there, you can go with Bring It Down or Wrath of the Slain. Or, you can select them both. So, for Clan Boss, increased damage inflicted by 6% when attacking targets with a higher max HP. Well, we all know that Clan Boss has a hell of a lot more HP than any champion we have, so that would be... That right there is a 6% increase. Wrath of the Slain for each dead ally. That might only work, towards the end when your team's starting to die off. So you might get 1, 2, maybe 3 or 4 attacks with an extra 10% increase. But I mean, the attacks do a fair amount of damage, but we are also getting half or more from Warmaster or Giant Slayer. The other two, Cycle of Violence and Opportunist, which targets with stun. Well, Opportunist, that's not going to help at all in Clan Boss. By decreasing the cooldown of random skill, if damage inflicted by a skill exceeds 30% of the target's max HP. That one also will not benefit your champion in Clan Boss. It may, however, work in other areas of the game, but we're just focusing on Clan Boss. So these two are pretty much irrelevant, so that's why I'm assuming I didn't pick them. Although I noticed that my Septimus has a different structure out here, but I use him again in other areas of the game. One before that, single out, increases damage to targets with less than 40% HP. So pretty much a little while after the clan boss changes affinity, changes its affinity or element at 50% hit points. So, you know, we might be able to get an 8% increase there. Life Drinker heals by 5% when your guy's dying. That's not really that great. Speed, each enemy killed, that's irrelevant because you can't kill the clan boss, and when you do, the battle's over. So Whirlwind of Death is useless in clan boss. Ruthless Ambush, first hit, it's only 8%, that's not really worth it. So if you're building your champion just for clan boss, I would go with pretty much this route that I have here on my Royal Guard. Second one, full HP. I think this one's worth having. You know, at least in the beginning, it's fairly easy to keep your champions at full health. Keen Strike, critical damage. I think that's pretty much an obvious one. Shield, well, if you're going to use your champion in Arena, this one might be a possibility for you. You know, there's the artifact sets that give shields, and a lot of support champions that put shield buffs on their team. And then this one, I don't know about you guys, but I don't like to let my champions sit less than 50% HP. I like to get them healed, so that's why I wouldn't go with Grim Resolve. First one, I think, is kind of obvious. I mean, it's kind of a coin flip, really. I prefer critical rate. 75 attack just really isn't much. So, if you want a layout to kind of follow, strictly for clan boss, then this is what you could go with. Okay, explained these pretty much. But if you're going with something different, depending on your champion, which you know you probably will, you should, depending on where you use them, definitely plan it out and draw it, write it down, whatever, because you might make a mistake. I mean, it happens. I made a mistake. I had to spend 150 gems once, so now I look them all up, I plan it out. Yeah, so I think we basically covered that. Defense and support, I mean, you guys can kind of figure that out. That kind of really depends on your champions and what they do, if they debuff or if they heal and stuff. So I will leave you guys with that, and yeah, good luck, guys. The hell's that noise? What's that noise? Oh. I didn't know what you were doing. I had my headset on. I couldn't hear anything. Thought somebody was breaking in or raping you or something.